Hey friends, as you can tell by the title of the video, this video in its entirety will be focusing on one singular skill, which is Inspire. It seems like a massive waste of time to be using a whole video to be talking about a single skill, but this skill in particular is one of the most divisive skills, if not the most divisive skill in the entire game. Some people swear by this skill and ace the skill on every single build they make. Other people believe that this skill is terrible, a waste of points, and everyone that uses it is garbage. Personally, I'm somewhat in between the argument, and I'll elaborate further into the video as I explain everything. Spoiler alert if you didn't see my previous video, but I actually joke about Inspire Ace being the best skill in the game towards the end of it. My number one skill, it's Inspired Ace. Just kidding, please don't click off, please, 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 please. A lot of people might see this and think I probably don't like this skill, but that's not entirely true. It's just that this skill has become so much of a meme in the community that I thought it'd be funny to put it in as a joke. And while I do joke about it, I don't necessarily hate it or hate anyone that uses it. But there are a lot of people in the community that do hate others for using it, and others that hate people for not using it. And why is that? Well, to understand it first, I want to talk about Inspire Ace's younger brother, Inspire Basic. Inspire Basic is actually what I'd like to believe is a great skill. This skill allows you to revive teammates twice as fast. So in total, your revive time goes from 6 seconds down to 3. This speed comes in handy very often as you expose yourself to fire for less time, and you could consistently throw a couple concussions before reviving your teammates to effectively take no damage while reviving them. This is because the concussion stun lasts for that 3 seconds, which basically gives you a free revive. Of course, you could do this without Inspire Basic, but it is much safer with the skill, granted that the stun lasts as long as the revive with it. There's also another ability of Inspire that I rarely see people use, but its effect is arguably just as good as the revive. When you shout at your teammates, you increase their movement and reload speed by a whole 20%. That speed is almost as much as Duck and Cover Basic, which, spoiler alert again, was my actual number one skill in my last video. Please. My real number one skill is Duck and Cover Basic. You sprint 25% faster and your stamina regenerates 25% sooner and 25% faster. There is a minor drawback to this ability, as you do need to be within 9 meters of your teammate to shout at them, and you need line of sight. But honestly, you should always be around at the very least one teammate in your heist, so that drawback isn't much to stop you from spamming your teammates for the boost. And it is a very spammable ability. The ability recharges every 3.5 seconds, and the boost lasts for a whole 10 seconds. That means you could theoretically keep all 3 of your teammates permanently boosted at the same time. I don't recommend doing this, but I'm just saying this to show you how you could easily always use it off cooldown. It's a shame that whenever I see people use Inspire Basic, or Ace for that matter, they often forget about this part of the skill and never shout at people. If you are ever going to take anything from this part of the video, just remember it never hurts to shout at your teammates to give them the boost. You don't even have to constantly do it. Occasionally remembering to shout whenever you pass by them is enough to get a lot more value out of the skill than not shouting at all. And not only can you revive teammates twice as fast and boost their speed greatly with the shout, but Inspire Basic only costs 8 more points if you're already taking medic bags or first aid kits. Acing painkillers and quick fix isn't even that bad of a decision, because either skill is still pretty good, giving your teammates a 80% damage reduction for 5 seconds after reviving them, or giving them 10% damage reduction for 2 whole minutes after using a medic bag or first aid kit is honestly worth the 4 points to get to tier 4. So, Inspire Basic is a good skill, but what makes acing it any different? Well, firstly, you have to spend another whole 8 points to even get to it. You're already using a fifth of your points to get to Inspire Basic, and loud skill sets are all generally so expensive that fitting 8 more points into Inspired Ace isn't really worth it. And if you do spend the extra 8 points to Ace Inspire, you only get one more ability. This is the ability that everyone cannot seem to agree about. Taking Inspire Ace allows you to revive someone by shouting at them in the same 9 meter radius every 20 seconds. You can even revive through walls with this. On paper, this skill sounds incredible. You are able to instantly revive someone without even having to expose yourself in the first place. But in practice, there are some nuances that come into play that makes this skill not as great as it seems. First of all, a lot of perk decks don't really need the skill to begin with. Sicario, Kingpin, Stoic, Leech, Hacker, and in some cases Copycat and Sociopath all have tools that allow them to get a revive way easier than other perk decks. And it doesn't help that these are some of the most popular perk decks in the game. In my eyes, this is only a flaw to Inspire Ace and not basic, because while being able to revive people through walls is pretty redundant with a deck that can make you invulnerable for a couple of seconds, the revive speed from Inspire Basic still helps because it gives you a little more time after you use your ability to escape. You also can still use the ability to boost people with Inspire Basic. For these decks, I really don't recommend spending an additional 8 points just to Ace Inspire, if you have Inspire Basic already. Also, most of the revives you can make with Inspired Ace can also just be done with Inspire Basic. In fact, every revive can be made with both variations on any difficulty below Death Sentence. The only revives that get a little complicated when comparing the two is when you're playing on Death Sentence and your teammate goes down in the middle of nowhere. But it's a situation that rarely happens, because it's a situation that never should happen. Not only do your teammates have to be doing bad enough to go down, but they also have to be going down without cover, which in Death Sentence, you're always sticking to cover. I only ever see this happen when they're trying to rush for an objective or the escape ban and fail, but even then, the distance that they would be at is so large that you would have to go out and expose yourself anyways to revive them with Inspired Ace. Not to mention, there is one major flaw with Inspired Ace that I haven't even talked about yet. Picture this, you just got down. Great. By what though? Cops, obviously. Someone revives you with their Inspired Ace through a wall. Nice. You know what's the problem with that? There are still cops on me. That's right, the cops that killed you before killed you again. Shocking, right? Now this problem often comes down to teammates not knowing how to properly revive people, and I can't knock them for not being educated, but it's rather shocking just to see how many teammates don't know this. Maybe it's because a lot of people are used to cops doing so little damage on low difficulties, they just forget they can't kamikaze into the cops to try and revive me without clearing the area first. Whatever reason I make up in my head, a problem still remains. A lot of people seem to not know how to revive properly. As your educational resource, here's how. Once your teammate goes down, you have 30 seconds to get to their body to start reviving them. I cannot stress this enough. 30 seconds is a lot of time. That is one whole Ukrainian job worth of time. Use this time. It's pretty clear that your teammate that just got down is going to be around cops. Even if your teammate calls out that he got down to a cloaker or a sniper, it's safe to assume that there are still cops around them. You don't need to immediately rush towards them and go down while they still have 25 seconds left on their custody timer. The first thing you want to do is to make sure that the area is clear before reviving. Remember, reviving leaves you completely vulnerable for 6 seconds, or 3 with Inspire Basic, so you always want to minimize the amount of damage you take while reviving by taking out the sources first before reviving. Then, and only then, should you realistically go for the revive. Now taking that understanding, to make an area safe for a revive, you have to expose yourself either way, and after all the cops are dead, what's the point of using your Inspire Ace? You're better off using it in a situation where you physically can't get to a teammate, but you can extend his life a little with an instant revive. If people save the revive instead of using it off cooldown to get value out of their skill, then a lot of hate surrounding this skill would die down. Me personally, this is the main reason I'm not fully supportive of this skill. I'm not against using the skill myself. In fact, I have some skill sets that use it, and I won't knock you down for using it yourself, just as long as you don't revive me in front of 10 heavy Zeal swats. The concept of using your Inspire Ace only when you absolutely need to is a little more complicated than to make it sound, but that's the general idea that you could use to get better at revives and better at using Inspire Ace. Here, in these clips, I'm using Inspire Ace in all of them, and notice how I approach reviving teammates. In this game, my teammate goes down, and I jump from the balcony to clear the area around him first. I know that I'm playing on Death Wish, so I don't care too much about taking a hit or two. After I clear out the area though, I revive him without using my Inspire Ace because I was so close to him anyways. I only use my Inspire Basic here to revive him faster and boost him with the shout so he could get away. Still in the same game, my other teammate goes down in front of the DeLorean, and you'll notice that in this clip, I don't immediately run towards him and risk going down. I take my time, and you'll see that I get the revive with a whole 10 seconds left to spare as well. In retrospect, I could have totally only used my Inspire Basic to revive him, but at the time, I believed he was still pretty out in the open, so I decided to use the shout to revive him instead here. Green goes down once again, and this time, I don't even get the revive at all. I use this time while down to clear out the area, while Blue uses the ECM to get a free revive. A lot of people here would use their Inspire just because they can, but it is absolutely not necessary here. If you see your teammates going for revive, there isn't any point in going for it too. Switching games, here my teammate and the AI go down. I'm positive it's because of a cloaker, because Payday 2 AI rarely goes down to anything else. But even then, I'm still sure that there are a bunch of enemies, and there sure are. So I take my time to clear out the room. And because I save my Inspire Ace, I get to use my normal revive on the AI, and then use Inspire Ace to revive my teammate. In this next part, both of my teammates are already down, and just take a look at this. I have so much time to spare that I am able to kill all these enemies plus this bulldozer to get a free revive on my teammate. And yet again, because I saved my Inspire Ace, I'm able to instantly pick up my friend. If instead I used my Inspire Ace just to pick up my first teammate, I would have had to risk getting a revive in the middle of the map. Switching over to Death Sentence, I'm the one that goes down here. In this clip, my friend doesn't even have Inspire Basic, but they play out this revive really smart. They kill an enemy that downed me and then threw a flashbang just in case there was anyone around me. This clip wasn't about me highlighting how to use Inspire, but rather how to revive people properly in general. Here we're on the same heist, and this time I'm getting the revive. My teammate goes down, and because I know a flashbang lasts as long as my Inspire Basic, I throw a single bang and run towards my teammate. Then I clear the area with my teammate after the revive. This is yet another great example of how powerful concussions can be for reviving, and it allowed me to save my Inspire Ace for a tougher situation. Here, something completely different happens. Green goes down in such a safe location that me and my teammate know for a fact that it is a safe space to use Inspire Ace on him. Fast forwarding a little, Orange goes down right in front of me, and I take out the shield behind me before reviving him right behind cover. Then, we dealt with the threat in front of us together. This is the final clip, and I put it in last because it's probably the least important thing to talk about, but it was still something to note. If you're playing with crew AI, you should let them go for the revive 90% of the time. Here, instead of wasting my Inspire Ace, I just let the tanky AI revive him while I dealt with the cops. Hopefully I've shown y'all how to properly use Inspire Ace and how to revive people properly. Like I said, it isn't something that is easy to learn, and being able to make safe revives is something that just comes with a lot of practice and knowledge of the situation that you're in. I hope I see a lot of people using this skill correctly now that I've made this video. I do think that this skill is really cool, and its concept is really amazing, and it's a shame that it's so 50-50 if someone knows or doesn't know how to use it properly. This video wasn't made in hate towards people that use this skill, but rather a way for them to understand why the hate could be justified, and how to lessen it. I hope that with enough people that see this video, I see a whole lot less hate towards Inspire Ace. Okay, hi, this is Editor Nut. I don't have enough energy to put on my YouTuber voice. There's just a quick thing I want to talk about before we get to my outro. I'm sorry that this video got out so late. I promised that it would be out by Wednesday or Thursday, and as you could tell, it didn't exactly hit that deadline. There was a lot of stuff going on, and honestly, I forgot about them, or I just didn't know what happened until the day of. So instead of my schedule looking like this, it looked a lot more like this. So to prevent this, I'm gonna stop promising an upload date unless I'm completely finished with the video. I'll still give sneak peeks to what I'm working on, but I won't give you a date while I'll be done anymore, but I'm only like 40% of the way done with it. Anyways, that's all I wanted to talk to you about. Here's my outro. Anyways, thank you so much for watching the video. Please like the video and subscribe. Your support goes a long way in giving this channel more reach. Once again, thank you for watching, and I hope you learned something, and have an amazing day.